Welcome to the session. We have discussed the consumer surplus and also know the consumer surplus can be determined under two conditions. Number one, we can determine the consumer surplus under perfect competition, and the consumer surplus can also be determined under monopoly. Consumer surplus can be determined under perfect competitions means there are many products available in the market. Of course, the product should be homogeneous. Then we can determine the consumer surplus by using the concept of supply and demand functions. As I have told you, equate these two functions and solve them for x, you will get the value of x, right? And then put the value of x in the demand function, you will get the value of p. And then you can use the formula to determine the consumers and producer surplus. Condition 2 was we can also determine the consumer surplus under monopoly. Monopoly means when there is only single product available in the market, like railway. Right? Railway is the best example of monopoly. So naturally, if there is only single product available in the market, then the prices of the product or commodity is not being decided by the market, rather they are being decided by the producers. And if the prices of a commodity is being decided or are being decided by the producer, then the producer will try to maximize his profit. And we have a number of conditions studied in the last session as well as in this session to maximize the profit. Among all those conditions, the most favored condition in this situation is the marginal revenue is equals to marginal cost, then the profit is maximum. And then use this condition, equate MR is equals to MC, solve this equation for X, you will get the value of X that is being represented as XE, the quantity demanded in the market. If the quantity demanded in the market is known, put this value of X in the demand function, you will get its respective price decided by the market, that will be denoted by PE. And then you can use the formula to determine the consumer surplus under both of these two conditions. So let us have the simplest case or the first example to determine the consumer surplus. So the question is determine the consumer surplus if consumer's demand function is given like P is equals to 35 minus 2x minus x square and he purchased 3 units. So try to understand the language of the question, what it actually refers to. See, this is your demand function, right? Given, I have told you the demand function is always given to you. So what is left? XE and PE. Out of these two terms, one term should be given. Either XE is given or PE is given. So see here, this is your demand curve, demand function. What is given next? And he purchased 3 units. The consumer is purchasing 3 units. It means it's the demand of the consumer. So how we will denote this 3? This is XE is 3 unit, right? And P is what? P is given as 35 minus 2x minus x square. What we need to calculate further to determine the consumer surplus. The formula for the consumer surplus is what? CS is given by 0 to XE, the demand function integral of this minus PE into XE. So what is left? Calculate PE, the price of the quantity fixed by the market. So put the value of X in the demand function, you will get its respective price which is being fixed by the market. So look at here, we have substituted the value of X is equals to 3. If consumer purchases 3 units, that is XE is equals to 3, then the market price of these 3 units is, put the value of X in the demand function. PE is 35 minus 2 into 3 minus 3 square, simplify it, you will get rupees 20. So what does it mean? It simply refers, if 3 units are being purchased by the consumer, then its market price is fixed as rupees 20. Now see what is happening with the consumer, right? The consumer surplus is this, right? The formula is 0 to xe dx minus pe and xe. What is the value of dx? So cs is given by 0 to xe is 3. The demand function is 35 minus 2x minus x square, very simple, minus p is coming out to be 20 and x is 3. So we are getting this equation. I think up to here there is no problem. Now what is left now? Integrate simply this function from 0 to 3. So the integral of this is what? Integral of 35 is 35x. Integral of 2x is what? 2 into x square by 2, that is x square, and integral of x square is simply x cube by 3, and the limit is from 0 to 3, and this is actually 20 into 3, that is 60. Now simplify it, put the value of x3 first. So what you will get? 35 into x minus 3 square 9 minus 3 square 9. Up to here. Minus, this is 0, minus 60. So you will get 27 as consumer's surplus. And I have told you the unit of the consumer surplus is as the unit of the price. So it should be mentioned in rupees. So rupees 27 is the consumer's surplus, right? It means what? The consumer was expecting 27 rupees for the 3 units of the commodities, but when he goes to the market, he purchases the same 3 units in rupees 20, right? This is what this question interprets actually. So this is how you can determine the consumer surplus. This is the simple case. We are not imposing any condition, that is either perfect competition or monopoly, right? Let us take case 2. This is also very similar. If the demand function is given as p is equals to 39 minus 3x square, see again here the demand function is given, right? Find the consumer surplus if demand is 5 by 2. So if demand is 5 by 2, it means this is what? xe is 5 by 2. xe is given and your demand function is given as 39 minus 3x square. So how you can determine the consumer surplus? Verbatim question as we did in the last case. Find out PE, that is the price fixed by the market. So how you will calculate PE? PE is equals to 39 minus, put the value of x in the demand function. So 3 into 25 divided by 4. Simplify it. 81 upon 4 is the rupees or the price fixed by the market. Now you can apply the formula to determine the consumer surplus. The consumer surplus is given as 0 to 5 by 2. The demand function is 39 minus 3x square dx. This is our demand function, right? Minus PE is 81 upon 4. XE is 5 upon 2, right? The formula is CS is given by 0 to XE. This is your demand function, and dx minus PE and XE. So this is what? 0 to xe is coming out to be 5 by 2. The demand function is 39 minus x square. This is dx minus pe is coming 81 upon 4 into xe is 5 by 2. Now integrate this function. The integral of 39 is naturally 39x, and integral of 3x square is what? 3 as it is. Integral of x square is x cube by 3. This is cancels out. What is left? X cube. Put x is equals to 5 upon 2. So 39 into 5 upon 2. What you will get here? 39 into 5 upon 2 minus 5 upon 2 raised to the power 3. If you simplify these two terms and then 405 multiply these two upon this, you will get 125 upon 4 as consumer surplus. So this is case 1. And what he is asking in case 2, if the demand is 5 by 2, then determine the consumer surplus, and also if the commodity is free. So if commodity is free, it means its price, that is PE, is equals to 0. Here what is given? Here the demand function is given to you, and he said the commodity is free, that is price is 0. So naturally, if the price is 0, then determine the quantity XE. So put here P is given as 39 minus 3x square, and if the commodity is free means this PE should be 0. So what you will get? 39 minus 3x square, this is equals to 0. So 3x square, this is 39. X square is 3 1 the 3, 3 3 the 9. So x is root 13. It is represented by XE. We will consider only positive square root because the quantity demanded in the market can never be negative. So XE is there, PE is given 0, and demand function is also with you. You can determine the consumer surplus as given by, so what is the formula? CS is what? 0 to XE. XE is root 13. And demand function is 39 minus 3x square dx minus PE into XE. So PE is 0. So this is 0 into XE is root 3. So this term will be 0. This is the only term. Integral of 39, we have just calculated 39x minus this is x cube. Now substitute these values and then simplify it. You will get rupees 26 root 13 as the required consumer surplus if the commodity is free, right? You can 13 square, 13 root 13 raised to the power cube means root 13 into root 13 into root 13. If root 13 is multiplied 2 times, it will become 13. So you will get 13 root 13. Root 13 can be taken as outside. 39 minus 13 is 26. So you will get 26 root 13 as the consumer's surplus. Now look at the next case. The price of a commodity demanded under perfect competition. Now this is case 1. I have told you, or we have discussed, we can determine the consumer surplus under 2 conditions also. Perfect competition as well as under the monopoly. So this is the case of perfect competition. The price of a quantity demanded under perfect competition is obtained by the demand and supply functions as under. This is your demand function and this is your supply. PD, D for demand, PS, S for supply. Determine the consumer surplus. So before solving this question, let me explain one thing more. Whenever you want to determine the consumer surplus only, then either XE is known or PE is known and the demand function will be given to you, right? Whenever you want to calculate the consumer surplus in general, then the demand function will be given to you, and out of XE and PE only one term will be given, right? But whenever you want to calculate the consumer surplus under perfect competition or under monopoly, both demand and supply functions will be given to you. Be careful. In other words, you cannot determine the consumer surplus under perfect competition if both demand and supply functions are not given, right? Now the price of a quantity demanded under perfect competition is obtained by demand and supply laws as this. Determine the consumer surplus, right? And we know that under perfect competitions, what happens at the equilibrium point, our demand and our supply both are equal. This is the basic prerequisite requirement or condition under perfect competition. PD is given to you, that is 56 minus x square this is equals to PS is 8 plus x square by 3. Now simplify these two equations. What you will get, this is 56 minus 8, this is equals to x square by 3 plus x square. Right, what you will get here 56 minus 8, that is what, simplify it, you will get x is as 6, right? This is what, 3x square by 3, and 16 minus 8 is 8. What you will get here, 448, right? So after simplification, the value of x is coming out to be 6, right? I have told you, whenever you will equate these two functions and you will solve it, you will get the value of x. Once you obtain the value of x, now put this value of x in our demand function, that is PD is equals to 56 minus x is coming out to be 6, so x square means 36, that is 20. So PE is rupees 20. See, PE is there, XE is there, demand function is there. Now you can use the formula to determine the consumer's surplus, right? So the consumer surplus is given as 0 to 6 PD dx, right? This is what CS is 0 to 6. This is the demand function PD, and this is dx minus PE into XE. PD is 56 minus x square, so 0 to 6, 56 minus x square dx, and this is what, 20 into 6. Integrate the function as usual. Integral of 56 is 56x minus integral of x square is x cubed by 3. From 0 to 6, this is 120. Substitute the limits, 56 into 6 minus 6 into 6 into 6, 216 divided by 3 minus 120. Simplify this. You will get rupees 144 as the consumer's surplus, right? So this is how you can determine the consumer surplus under perfect competition. Keep one thing in your mind, as I have explained you. Whenever you want to determine the consumer surplus under perfect competition, both demand and supply functions will be given to you, because whenever you will equate these two functions, only then you will get the value of x, that is XE, quantity demanded in the market, and then we will put this value of x in our demand function to get its respective price, that is denoted by PE, right? And then we can use the formula to determine the consumer surplus. This is also a verbatim question, and I think I should leave it for you as an exercise. Don't depend on any teacher. Try to solve the questions yourself. Only then you will understand it. Look at the question. Find the consumer surplus under perfect competition. Okay. The same thing is here. For the demand function is this, and the supply function is this. Verbatim. You want to determine the consumer surplus under perfect competition, and you know, under perfect competition, supply and demands both are equal, as we did the same thing here, right? Demand is given as 8 upon x plus 1 minus 2. Supply is given as 1 upon 2 x plus 3. This is equals to this. Solve this. You will get the value of x as 1 and minus 1. 1 and minus 9. Minus 9 is not possible because the quantity demanded in the market can never be negative. So we will take it as 1. So if XE is 1, determine its price by putting XE in the demand function. Price is coming out to be 2, and then you can apply the formula simply to determine the consumer surplus. So try to find out its solution yourself. I have given you the basic hints required to solve the same problem as we did in the last example. This is last case, that is monopoly. What happens when there is a situation of monopoly? Under the monopoly, the quantity sold and market price are determined by the demand function. If the demand function for a profit maximizing monopolist, okay, Whenever we are dealing with the monopoly, monopoly means there is only single product available in the market. If the demand function for a profit maximizing monopolist is this, see, the demand function is given to you, and MC, that is the marginal cost function, is 1 plus x square. Determine the consumer surplus. I have just discussed we can determine the consumer surplus under monopoly, means we are interested in maximizing the profit, and profit can be maximized in many ways. Among those many ways, the simplest way out is what? The marginal cost should be equals to the marginal revenue, that is MR should be equals to marginal cost, then our profit is maximum. So here two terms are there, the demand function is there and the marginal cost is there, and we are interested to determine the consumer surplus under monopoly. And we know the monopolic condition for maximizing the profit is the marginal revenue should be equals to marginal cost. One term we are given here, the marginal cost is given to us, but we don't have the marginal revenue. And we know that to determine the marginal revenue, first we will determine the revenue function R, that is given by P into X, right? See, the demand function is this, 50 minus x square. Let R denotes the revenue function, then R is equals to Px. This we know from the formula of the revenue. What is P? P is given as 50 minus x square into x. So your revenue function becomes 50x minus x raised to the power 3. This is your revenue function. And if you have a total revenue function, find out its derivative, that is dr over dx. It is equals to what? 50 minus 3x square. This is your marginal revenue as we get it here. See, and we know under monopoly the marginal revenue should be equals to the marginal cost, that is 50x minus x cube, it should be equals to 1 plus x square. Sorry, 50x minus x square, it should be 1 plus x square. So what is left here? 50, this is not 50x. Marginal revenue is 50 minus, this is your 50, sorry, what is the marginal revenue? 50 minus 3x square, 1 minute. 50 minus 3x square, this is your marginal revenue, this is 1 plus x square. So this will transfer from here, you will get here 4x square is equals to 4x square is equals to 50 minus 1, that is 49. So x square is 49 upon 4, x is what? 7 upon 2. We will not consider the negative, as we know the quantity demanded can never be negative. So x is coming out to be 7 by 2. And put this value of x in the demand function, that is P is equals to 50 minus x square. So the demand will be 151 upon 4. See, P is 50 minus x square. This is what? 50 minus 49 upon 4. That is 200 minus 49 divided by 4. It is 151 divided by 4, right? This is your PE, right? Now you can use the formula to determine the consumer surplus. 0 to 7 by 2, this is your demand function, this is XC and PE. Integral of 50 is 50x minus integral of x square is x cubed by 3. Substitute the limits. We have solved a number of questions on the definite integral and then simplify it. So the consumer surplus is coming out to be 343 upon 12, right? So we have seen how we can determine the consumer surplus in general, then how we can determine the consumer surplus using case 1, that is under perfect competition, and case 3, how we can determine the consumer surplus under monopoly, right? This is also almost the same question. The demand and supply functions PD and PS are given by this respectively. Determine the consumer surplus under monopoly if the supply function is identified with the marginal cost function, right? So what is given? This supply function PS is given as 56 plus 4x. This should be treated as marginal cost function, that is MC, right? What is the condition of monopoly? Marginal cost should be equals to marginal revenue. Almost same question. Marginal cost is given to you. Marginal revenue means find out the revenue first, and revenue is calculated by this. See, R is equals to PX. So what is the revenue? R is 12 minus 2x whole square. Open this by the formula of A minus B square. So multiply by X, you will get this as your revenue. Then MR means the marginal revenue is this. Find out its derivative. Derivative of 144x is 144, and 48 into 2, that is 96x, minus 4 into 3, that is 12x square. So the marginal revenue is 144 minus 96 plus 12x square, and we know under monopoly the marginal cost must be equals to the marginal revenue. So 144 minus 96x plus 12x square, it should be equals to 56 plus 4x. So this is the marginal revenue, this is the marginal cost. If you equate these two equations, you will get this equation, and this is a quadratic equation. Solve it. It will have two factors. So the values of x are coming out to be 2 here. We are getting two values of x, right? X is 1 or x is 22 by 3. So here, look at this. We are getting two values of x. In the last case, we were getting one value of x, and we put that value of x in PE to get its respective price. But here we are getting a quadratic equation. That is why it is giving us two values of x. So whenever two values of x, which value should be chosen? Think over it. We will choose that value naturally which will maximize the profit, right? So we will check which value will maximize the profit. That value of x will be considered. So MR minus MC is what? Look at P is equals to what? R minus C. So dP over dx is what? dr over dx minus dc over dx. dP over dx is the first derivative of the profit. dP over dx is equals to what? dr upon dx is marginal revenue minus dc upon dx is marginal cost. So to check whether x is equals to 1 or x is equals to 20 by 3, which value will give you the maximum profit, you know from the condition of the maxima minima, the second derivative of the profit should be negative. That value of x will maximize the profit. So look at here, MR minus MC is the first derivative of the profit function. So if we calculate the second derivative, C, d square P over dx square, this means what? Derivative of this MR minus MC, right? If derivative of this means derivative of this. So derivative of this means d over dx. That is why I have written like this, d over dx of MR minus MC. d over dx of MR minus MC. MR minus MC is coming out to be dP over dx. That is the first derivative of the profit function. So the second derivative of the profit function will be derivative of the difference MR minus MC. So its derivative is coming out to be 3 into 2, that is 6x minus 25. This is our second derivative. Now put x is equals to 1 in this, it is coming out to be negative. X is equals to 22 by 3, it is coming out to be positive. So x is equals to 1 is giving you the second derivative as negative, and this is the basic condition for maximization of any point, right? This is the basic condition. You know, the basic condition for the maximization is what? dy over dx should be 0. You will get some stationary point. And then find out the second derivative. The second derivative is negative for any stationary value. Then that stationary value will give you the point of maximum. Clear? So here we are having 2 points for x1 and 22 upon 3. To check which point will give you the maxima, we will find out the derivative of mr minus mc, right? And the derivative of mr minus mc is equals to second derivative of the profit function, right? Second derivative of the profit function. So second derivative of the profit function is coming out to be 6x minus 25. Now put x is equals to 1 and x is equals to 22 by 3, for which value the second derivative is coming out to be negative. That will be the point of maxima. So it is coming out to be negative for x is equals to 1, that is minus 19. Here this is positive. So x is equals to 1 is a point of maxima. So x is equals to 1 will maximize the profit. Therefore, xe should be taken as 1. Now put this value of xe in PE to get the price. The price you will get as this, put this here, coming out to be rupees 100. And then you can use the formula to determine the consumer's surplus, right? The consumer surplus is given by 0 to 4, 12 minus 2x whole square. This is our demand function. 100 is the price, the value of x is 1. Now integrate this. Integral of this is 12 minus 2x power 3 upon 3 into minus 2. You can integrate this by many ways. Minus 100, substitute these values and then simplify it. The consumer surplus is coming out to be 64 divided by 3 in terms of rupees, right? So we have discussed almost all the possibilities of finding out the consumer surplus, either the general case or the under perfect competition as well as under monopoly. So students, we should stop it here and we will take up the next lecture in the subsequent text, right?